Welcome everybody back to the Flying Doghouse. It's time for another North Carolina cross-country flight. This trip we're going to go from Ocracoke on the Outer Banks of North Carolina. We're going to make our way south down to Cape Lookout. And our final destination for this flight is going to be the delightful little town of New Bern in North Carolina. We are going to do a couple of things that are different with this particular video. So one, we're going to take a look at the flight plan that I have put together for the flight, and I'm going to use that as a preview of how I use Little Nav Map in terms of planning, and just so that you can get familiar with it if you've never heard of it. I'll include a download link in the description. And also I thought it might be fun to take a look at a product that's it's a commercial product. It's available from Parallel 42, and it works in both Flightsim 2020 and Flightsim 2024. And it's their Campout Utility, and it's just a lot of fun. So I thought we'd open that up and have a look, and we'll get our tent and our dogs and our grill and our tent all packed up, and then we'll make our way from Ocracoke down to New Bern. So we're going to do a couple of overflights. We are going to venture our way to Morehead City as well, and then a bunch of navigational waypoints in between, just to kind of take in the scenery. So we'll do that, and hopefully everybody will get to experience something a little different on the North Carolina coast. All right. So when we come back, we're going to have our pilot briefing, and we'll take a look at Little Nav Map and the flight plan that we're going to run today. Okay. With that, we'll be right back. Okay, as I mentioned in the intro, we're going to have a look at Little Nav Map, and we'll walk through the flight plan for this particular portion of our cross-country tour here in the Carolinas. Let me switch over to Little Nav Map. This is a great piece of freeware. And as I have mentioned several times on the channel, this is what I use for my flight planning for my own purposes and also for group flights. It's very, very well done. So what I have planned out for us is we will depart Ocracoke, and I thought we would make our way down the Cape Lookout National Seashore, which is located here where I'm moving my mouse pointer. And we'll overfly the location of the lighthouse. I'm not sure that the lighthouse is actually in 2024. I can't remember, to be truthful. But we'll find out together. All right, so we'll make our way down to Cape Lookout. And then we'll turn and then make an approach into Morehead City. Then we will make our way across and around the airspace for Cherry Point and Bogue. Then we'll make our way over into New Bern. A few more twists and turns here, and just being mindful of the controlled airspace and where that is. We'll overfly some of this wilderness area, the Croatan National Forest here. And we'll just have fun with our fly. So at any rate, hopefully this gives you a little bit of an idea of what Little Nav Map is all about. You can obviously see the route with the ICAO codes, and it does give you course bearings and distance and nautical miles and remaining nautical miles to the total plan, and then time estimates based on performance data from the aircraft that you're using inside of Little Nav Map. But there you have it. There are plenty of YouTube videos out there to do a deep dive on Little Nav Map, and I know that Jonathan Beckett has done one that's excellent. So if you want to take a deep dive into Little Nav Map, check out his channel for his video. I'll try to remember to put a link in the description in my video over to his, so that you can have easy access to that. All right, so there's our pilot brief. So we're going to make our way from Ocracoke down Cape Lookout, National Seashore, and then we'll make our way over to Coastal Carolina Regional in New Bern. All right, so next up we will spawn on to the end of the runway at Ocracoke. Okay, so here we are in the WB-152 at Ocracoke, and I thought it would be fun to take a quick peek at Parallel 42's Campout Utility. Because if I was going to fly into Ocracoke and I wasn't going to stay in the town, might have to, pitch a tent. All right, let's jump outside the plane. If you haven't seen this, this is really cool. There's tons of stuff, and this is certainly not a in-depth video in terms of how to deal with Parallel 42's Campout Utility, but it's great fun. I think it's pretty intuitive. You'll get the hang of it really quick. But anyway, let's go have some breakfast. All right, let me grab my Xbox controller here. All right, there's my two pooches. They're over here hanging out. Wagging and woofing. All right, but there's a lot of different kinds of things that you can include in your campsite. I've got a lawn chair here and got some stuff cooking on the griddle. Got my tent, sleeping bag, all sorts of cool stuff. At any rate, so we've already done our flight plan. So what we need to do is we need to pack up our stuff, and we can start heading out here. We'll get all the stuff packed up and put back in the plane, and we'll get the airplane started up, and then we'll make our taxi and take off. So how do you deal with the Campout Utility? Let me get out of walk around mode here. Go back to the menu. All right, so it does put an icon in your menu bar at the top. And we'll give it a second here. All right, so this is how I have placed the objects relative to my aircraft. And there's a circle. But you've got all sorts of things that you can add, right? So here's some of the objects. And again, I don't want to get bogged down too much into the weeds with this, but it's great fun, right? So there's my sneaky chucks. There's all sorts of gear you can add, right? And you can create a preset that will remember it. It gives you environmental care points for cleaning up your stuff. All right, so with that, go ahead and pack up all our stuff. All right, got that taken care of. At any rate, just to invite you to have some fun and explore it. This was an inexpensive add-in. It works obviously in 2020 and in 2024. It's very, very cool. All right, so there we go. So leave no trace. Be a good scouter. All right. So I think we can go ahead and get the aircraft started up, and we'll get going here in just a minute. Okay, so I have opened the fuel valve. And let's hide the yoke here so we can see what we're doing. Alright, so a couple pumps on the primer. And we'll cut our landing lights on and our navigation lights on. Let people know we're commencing with the shenanigans. Crack the throttle. Get the fuel valve open here. Look around. The ground crew getting chopped in half is good. Their prop. And the parking brake on here before we do that. And cut the battery and the alternator on. Those are helpful things to try to do a start. Alright, there we go. Alright, hopefully I've gotten my controls situation good. And we will back to idle. Parking brake off. And we'll turn around with some brake. And easy as we do it. There we go. Good deal. Get our view centered up here. Really see what we're doing. And we've got flaps at 15, which is fine. And we are at the end of the runway. We'll just make sure that we don't see anybody coming in. So we can jump out the plane. Yep, we should be good. Okay. Off we go to New Bern. Say that we are situated good. Let's go ahead and start our takeoff roll. A little windy today. Not too bad. Up we go. And we are on our way. Flaps coming up. And we'll see how far we get today without a crash the desktop. Yeah, it might be worth a swing around to the village here. Yeah, let's see, we got winds at 63 degrees and gusting at about 20. So we were getting whooshed and squished on our takeoff. Well, that's okay. All right, this is a charming little place here. It does frequently get evacuated for major hurricanes, so residents around here expect that. And I think I mentioned in the previous video, this was home to Blackbeard the pirate. Always good to have a little bit of local trivia. This is just a great little vacation spot. All right, there you go. Now we can say goodbye to Ocracoke. Okay. All right, we got about a 6-knot tailwind here. Currently, our ground speed is 102. And we'll get bounced around here, but that's okay. I'll go ahead and get a little bit of altitude. I'll RPM up here a little bit. Get a reasonable climb rate going. And it won't take us long to get down to Cape Lookout. And we do have a helping tailwind, so that's good. Alright, let's jump outside the plane. Yeah, if you like short takeoff and landings, you might want to check out NC-17. November Charlie 17. Wolf's Den. I really don't want to call it an airstrip. It's really more like a driveway in a trailer. At any rate, it's fun. It's a little quirky challenge. So that's one that I'll mention. The other is not too far from Morehead City, and it's called Dead Cow Field. Wonder how it got its name. Anywho, continuing to make our way to the southwest. Yeah, looks like we're coming up on some cloud. And winds at 11 knots out of 75 degrees. And I'm located in the Charlotte area in North Carolina, and it's quite breezy here today. It's sunny and breezy. We'll continue to make our way here. Go around this big puffy. All right. Hopefully you got a good sense of just how big the Pamlico Sound is. It's huge. And quite a few wildlife refuges located here. Area was quite famous for duck hunting. Alright, how are we doing managing our way around? That's good. Okay. Turn back a little bit. Continue to make our way down toward Cape Lookout. And Wolf Den would be off our 3 o'clock. A Savage Cub or something like that would be the requirement. Alright, back over here to Cape Lookout. And our ground speed's about 117. You can see the airspeed indicator bouncing around, the gusting of this tailwind we have. And my estimate on this flight was about an hour. I might get done a skosh quicker than that, but I am, you know, having to do a little bit of maneuvering, but I don't expect it to be more than an hour. Alright, looks like we have some beach cottages and etc. rendered here. Squeeze under this one. It does look like we are going to run into some yuck. And we'll see how it goes as we progress. Some of this is, I guess, modeled mist from the ocean. And I do have on live weather today. Thought that might be fun. Yeah, I do have a poll over on the posts tab on the channel. I'm curious as to how many of you have been experiencing an increase with issues and problems with the sim crashing to desktop. I've had quite a few, I'm going to put in quotes, opportunities to deal with that in the last 2 weeks. It's been rather frustrating. And I try to keep the add-in environment tidy as I go. I do use add-ons linker. Okay. I'm just curious. I'm gonna take it up here. See how high this cloud bank is. As we violate our VFR. Yeah, we'll just continue our climb out here. Take a peek at where we're eventually going to be heading. Yeah, we should be able to get a good visual of the runway here at Morehead City. It is a bit warmer in the Carolinas today, about 55 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, I can still see ground below. Looks like we've got a little bit of a hole in front of us. And drop down through that. Yeah, we got about 129 on our ground speed. And this is definitely one of the most isolated places on the Outer Banks. So there was a permanent settlement on Cape Lookout, but that is no longer. Can't remember when they mandated that there would be no permanent settlement here. There are still some rental cottages that you can stay at, and the lighthouse and the keeper's house is still here, but there is no public electric power. It's, if you want power, it's gas for generators. And there's a limited rental season here too, so you take a ferry across from Morehead City if you're going to be staying in the area. And I think for grins and giggles here, we can come off of weather. There we go. And we can jump outside the plane. Alright, so we're coming up on the end of the island here. Let's take in some of this beautiful scenery we couldn't see. And at one time there was an airstrip that was located here too, but it is not currently on the active list. Well, we're not too far away from that. You know, I do remember that in Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, there was still a windsock located here. Yeah, it doesn't appear that the lighthouse is modeled in 2024. Yeah, but if you are interested in the North Carolina lighthouses, there is a downloadable. I'll try to put a link in the description of the video so that you can download those if you were interested. So I guess Cape Hatteras is the only one in this that's built into the sim that was actually rendered. And the Cape Lookout Lighthouse is actually quite interesting. It has a very unique pattern painted on it. It's diamonds. And depending on your course orientation, the predominant diamonds are either going to be black or white. Yeah. Alright, we'll go ahead and start making our turn over here toward Morehead City. And that won't take long. And you can see the access road that I was talking about that's used by folks who do come over on that small ferry. No cars, golf cart, ATVs are fine. All right, and we will make our way across. It's about an 8-mile leg or so. And with our now friendly wind, we will just go straight in on runway 26. The black bear are quite common in this part of North Carolina, particularly on the Sound and the Riverside. And our final destination, New Bern, is a sister city in Switzerland named Bern, which does translate to the word bear. And New Bern is a charming little place. It's actually one of my favorite small coastal towns in North Carolina. People are very friendly. And the governor's mansion there is an obvious tourist attraction. I did mention that on the earlier flight. But it was actually it has been reconstructed. The original structure burned, but it has been restored with period appropriate decor. All right, coming up on Morehead City, home of the North Carolina Seafood Festival. Start dropping my airspeed and getting ourselves a little bit better configured here. can go ahead and start making our turn here. There we go. So if you like boating and fishing, this is another great spot for those kinds of activities. All right. Get ourselves appropriately situated here. Airport is at our 11 o'clock. Altitude's good. Airspeed's fine. Drop one level of flap here. And Dead Cow Field is over there at our 1 o'clock. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we are in great shape. I don't think we would be in great shape if we had live weather on. I am going to not be tempted to turn that on. We're just going to make our way in. Maybe I'll cut it back on our climb out just to kind of see what's what. Several different runways here at Morehead City. And this touch and go should be easy peasy. Famous last words. Okay. All right, and then back up we shall go. Alright, got good airspeed here, a little bit of altitude. We can go ahead and take our flaps in and then make our turn back to the northwest here. And I do have us routed to avoid Bogue Marine Corps Air Station's airspace and also Cherry Point. And we're just gonna make our way between the two. Alright, we've got about 10 miles to our navigational waypoint here. Back outside the plane. So I believe I mentioned this in the previous video. New Bern is home of Pepsi Cola. There's a pharmacist in New Bern that created that concoction. And the drugstore and pharmacy is actually now a gift shop and a bit of a museum. It's just a fun place to go in downtown New Bern. So if you ever make it to New Bern, make sure you stop by the Pepsi location in downtown. Lots of shops and food and other fun things to do, as well as the governor's mansion. Lots of different parks. There's camping available in the area. Lots of fishing opportunities. I'm going to turn this a little bit so that we could see some of that additional scenery to our 9 o'clock. Get ourselves turned a little bit further so that we can stay away from Cherry Point's airspace. All right, we're going to make our way to the lakes at our 12 o'clock. This is the Croatan National Forest. Long Lake and Great Lake and Lake Simon. Got those remembered correctly. Alright, we are just going to skirt Cherry Point. I'll turn us a little bit more to the west. Excuse me. Oh yeah, I was going to check and see what treats would have been in store for us with live weather. Let's see what we got. Cut live weather back on. Yeah, we would have a nice crosswind going into New Bern. 121 at 14. All right, we'll go back to tourist view here. All right, continuing to make our way to the lakes. And this will be a good altitude to come in on for our approach. And I think we'll do a left-hand circuit. For runway 23. Two 3 right. That's not right. Thinking about landing at Cherry Point. Runway 22. Still, we'll be doing that left-hand circuit. Yeah, the air traffic controller at Cherry Point yelling at me. Eh, maybe not. We're like right on the edge. You know, one of the folks in our family lived in New Bern. Has since moved elsewhere. I guess we could take the weather box off. There we go. Quite a few military bases located in this area, so a lot of Navy and Marine Corps and some Coast Guard from the U.S. Armed Forces. We have an air show every year at Cherry Point. Lots of different kinds of airplanes make their way in. And I do believe the Blue Angels are on that rotation, which is kind of cool. Well, it's not kind of cool. It is cool. All right, we'll make our turn toward the river once we get ourselves juxtaposed between these 4 lakes. It looks like I have the time estimate about correct. Well, I think we're about 51 minutes into our departure and flight portion of the video today. All right, we can start our turn toward our circuit. Yeah, there is another airfield not too far from us. It's, I think is it Oak Grove? We'll make our turn here toward the river. Now that we're well clear of the Cherry Point airspace. All right, this will put us in good shape in terms of joining a downwind leg here. At any rate, since I talked about how much I love this WB-152, I thought we would use it again on some of these legs. I think we'll try to cover a little bit more ground in our next leg, and we'll use something that's a little bit more high performance. Thinking about using the King Air. But we'll see. I haven't really made a firm decision yet in terms of the route for our next leg, but I'll post something over on the post section of the channel and give people a heads up in terms of what you'll expect. Anyway, I hope the Little Nav Map segment here was helpful, and I hope that I stoked a little bit of interest on your part in terms of taking a look at Parallel 42's Campout Utility. It's quite cool. And if you're on PC, be sure and download this WB-152. It's awesome. And quite a few of the folks who live here in New Bern do work at the at Cherry Point. There's a lot of commuter traffic on the highway here. And it's also close to some fun beaches. Anyway, we'll talk about those as we head to our south. We'll definitely are going to head toward Wilmington, but where our final destination is, I'm not quite sure yet. We'll also visit Oak Island. There's a fun general aviation airfield there that we will visit. And then I guess we'll make our way across the southern sandhills and back into the southern Piedmont. Alright, we're at 2,200 feet, so we should be, I need to stop gabbing and start aviating. Alright, that'll be a good downwind. Yeah, that's good stuff. Okay. We'll make our way across the river and we'll give that about a minute or two, and then we will turn base. I'll keep our rate of descent reasonable here. I don't have to be in quite that big a hurry. There we go. We're in good shape. And I do have the Payware add-in version for Coastal Carolina. I can blame that one on my family member, but it's a cool airport. I like flying in and out of it. Here in the friendly confines of our virtual world. Give ourselves another 60 seconds or so, and then I'm going to turn base. And our airspeed is good and well managed. So we will endeavor to do a no flaps landing here. Alright, we'll go ahead and make our turn to base. Alright, that ought to be good. And there's the airfield. Jump outside the plane. I will say that the rendering of the bridges here in New Bern are much, much better than what we had in Flightsim 2020. And it actually looks like the vehicles on the bridge are actually on the bridge. And they're not under the bridge like submarines. Yeah, actually this bridge work here is very, very well done. All right, so kudos to Microsoft and Asobo on this one. This looks nice. Okay. Slaps 8. And the main terminal building is to our 11 o'clock here. Control towers on the opposite side of the field. And a variety of hangars scattered here and yon. Alright, and we are to the keys, so we'll go ahead and go idle. And just make our way down to our landing zone. And there we go. We are down. Welcome to New Bern. And if you haven't already done so, please like and subscribe. We'd love to have you as a subscriber on the channel. And we've got a few cold and dark start videos planned, so we're going to take a look at some additional aircraft that are included in 2024, and we can go back and revisit some of the planes that we have on Flightsim.to that have been updated as well. We'll make our way over to our parking. Alright, there you have it. A trip down the Outer Banks, a quick preview of Parallel 42's Campout Utility, and a quick and dirty overview of flight planning and Little Nav Map. Hope you enjoyed the video. Again, like and subscribe. And until next time, hope everybody is keeping well. Cheers, y'all.